In this training video, we are going to show you how to enter in a CR or WOLFS 101 document to submit to the Treasurer's Office. This process is going to replace the WOLFS 101 Excel sheet that you currently scan and email over to the Treasurer's Office. In order to get to the system, our deposits module system, if you go to the Treasurer's Office website and click on Quick Links, you'll be able to see deposit systems. If you click on deposit systems, it'll take you to this page, and this is where you will be provided a username and password. For most agencies, you should have an agency admin in your agency, and they will be able to provide you with this username and password. I'm going to go ahead now and log into the system. My username, and I'll enter in my password. This is the deposits dashboard that you will see every time you log in. It gives you bank date, agency, document ID, total, status, and document type. As you can see, I've used agency 004, which is unclaimed property, for this demonstration. You will be able to select bank date, and you can sort by bank date. You can also sort by total. All of the options up top you can sort by. You can also search. As you'll see over to the side, it says bank date. If I click on bank date, I can go ahead and choose documents. I'm going to choose May 4th for my document. I'm going to choose May 4th and hit go. And that'll take you to the documents that have been entered in for this date on May 4th. You can also search a document by selecting the drop down by bank. You can sort by document ID, document type, status. If you have multiple agencies, you can sort by agency, or you can sort by deposit total. I'm going to go ahead and sort by status, and you will see that I'm going to search submitted and go, and we'll be able to see all of the documents that Unclaimed Property has submitted at this time. If you are an agency, you will be saving documents and submitting documents. Once documents get submitted, they will be submitted over to the Treasurer's Office, and at that time the Treasurer's Office will do the other functions on here. You'll see that we have a rejected status. If your document ID, bank date, or dollar amount do not match either the bank or WOLFS, we will go ahead and reject that back to you. You'll be able to sort by status. On status, if you can do saved or submitted. Agencies will usually save a document, and then once it's submitted, it will come over to the Treasurer's Office. We will reject documents back to agencies upon request, or we can reject documents if they do not match the bank date and dollar amount, or if the agency WOLFS document does not match, or if the dollar amount in WOLFS does not match. We do have where you'll see processes if it is bank reconciled or bank exception. That is a function that the Treasurer's Office will do. We also have a process status. Once the Treasurer's Office has approved these documents in WOLFS, we will change the status here to processed. The reason that we wait until after we do the WOLFS part is just in case you have your document in a verified draft status or it's in your agency work ID. If we can't process it in WOLFS, we will maybe reject it back to you here so that you know that you have to go into WOLFS and do a function. Once a document gets to WOLFS reconciled, that is the life of the document and it's kind of ended there. If you have a deleted document or need to delete a document, we will go ahead and reject that back to the agency and have the agency delete the document at that time. We do not have the capability to delete documents. I'm going to go ahead and just do a search on here for WOLFS reconciled, and you'll be able to see all the documents that have been processed in the system since May 1st. To enter in a new document, I'm going to go ahead and just click on the new button. And this is the page that will pop up. This is actually the page that's going to replace the Excel document that you currently send over to us. As you can see, we have bank date, which will need to be filled in. Status is always just going to tell you what the status of the document is. You don't have to select a status on here. If you're an agency that only has one agency that you're entering deposits for, you will just only see that agency. If you do have multiple agencies, you can click the down arrow and select the appropriate agency. CR document. Most agencies just have CR documents. Some agencies will have a CRL, so you have the option to do CR or CRL documents. You will need to enter in your document ID, dollar amount, and then also the deposit type. We've linked those deposit types to the previous day composite report at the bank. If you've taken a deposit to the bank, you'll select bank. If you've done a desktop deposit, of course desktop. If you have an ACH or credit card, those are lumped together because on the bank report they both show up as a miscellaneous ACH credit. Wire transfers at the bank show up as an incoming money transfer, so that's why we've separated those out. If you have a deposit correction, that can be for a positive deposit correction credit or a negative miscellaneous debit. If you have a negative ACH that comes in or a debit ACH on the system, that will be a negative. If you need to enter in a negative document, you will have to enter in the negative sign before that document. The system will not automatically switch it to a negative. If you can see, if I delete that and I put in the $50 down here in the total, it does not automatically make that a negative. So you'll have to add that negative in order for it to be a negative document. The last type on here is ACH returns. The ACH returns, the reason it has vendor or payroll behind there is that is something that you're normally going to be notified, or you will notify the state auditor's office that you have a person that you did a payroll check and they no longer are with you, so you need that payment stopped. Or the auditor's office will notify you that you have paid a vendor whose account is closed and those funds will be returned to you. At that time, you'll just be notified of that, and they'll tell you that they're going to do a CR to deposit that back into the system. At that time, they will notify the treasurer's office, and we will actually process that return of those funds, and then we will actually input into the system a CR for that ACH return. You will not see those on your previous day bank report, but we do see those on another bank report that we pull. So we do want those to be agency specific. So if you run a report and you see that the dollar figures don't match, check that ACH return column just to see if you have an item in there. I'm going to go ahead right now and look at my previous day composite report for unclaimed property for this day. And as you can see on this day, I picked May 4th. Unclaimed property has a deposit of $199.48. So we're going to process a desktop deposit for them. If I come in here, I'm going to pick the bank date of May 4th. I'm going to type in the $199. It was a desktop deposit. I'm going to need to log into the Wolf system in order to get the document ID. If you guys have a document ID on your system, or if you know that document ID, you can go ahead and key that in. I just want to show you that you can go ahead and copy and paste those document IDs. As you'll see, I left the document ID blank. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to log into Wolf's and copy the document ID over. So I'm in the Wolf system, and if you've already entered in the document, you can go ahead and copy and paste the document ID from here. Or if you're working in the document, you can go ahead and copy and paste the document ID from up top where it says document ID. So I just select it. Oops, sorry. If you just select it and hit copy, I'm doing Control C and Control V, it'll go ahead and copy it over into the document ID. If you find that you have a space either after the document ID or before the document ID, if you will go ahead and remove that space. When the system does its auto reconciliation, if there is a space either before or after that document ID, it will go ahead and reject that. So I'm going to go ahead here. If you need to add multiple deposits to the system, if you have this document ID and you want to add an ACH credit that came into the bank on that same day that you want to use the same document ID, you could go ahead and add that in there. As long as the bank date, the Wolf's document ID, and the total of both of those match, it will run through the system. I just entered that in just to show you that you could enter in multiple of those, but for this document we're just going to do the one document. I'm going to go ahead and hit save, and you'll see that it kicked an error and it says unable to save. The reason that it's unable to save on here is because this document ID has already been used. If you hover over that, it'll say document ID is already in use for this agency. That doesn't happen very often because we know that Wolf's does not allow multiple document IDs, but if you had a modification that was run, or if you had an NSF that ran that you did the same document ID to run that forward, you would need to put behind this either an A for adjustment. We know some agencies use CORR for correction, or NSF behind that document ID just to keep track of those. So if we go ahead and I'm going to enter in a document really quick and enter in a comment into the document that'll say that this was for a deposit correction for 5/1 of 18, you can go ahead and enter in comments into the document. Those comments could either be for us at the Treasurer's Office, or that could be an internal document just so that you can make note on something for that deposit. I'm going to go ahead and hit save again, and you'll see that it says document saved successfully. Whatever the last screen you were on for the dashboard, as you can see we had the status of Wolf's reconciled, that's where it's going to take you back to. So if I wanted to find that document, I know it was done in a saved status, so I could go ahead and change that to saved, and I could search that document there, and you can see that 199.45 is there. Since I have multiple documents that are in here that are saved, if I just wanted that one, or if I had a lot, the whole page was filled up, I could go ahead and hit the plus sign, and I could search on bank date, knowing that I did that as of May 4th, and hit go, and it will bring up that one document. If you noticed when I was on that back page, I'm just going to subtract out of here, and I'm going to hit go just on the save status. You're going to notice that some of those documents are white and some of those documents are a gold color. The reason that they are a gold color is because they have a comment. So that was where, if I go into this document, you'll see that you can see my comment that was for a deposit correction. If you're in this document, you can go ahead and update it from here. If you need to change something, you can click the up arrow and you can submit it from here, or you can delete it. I'm going to go ahead and cancel out of here just really quick to show you that on the other documents, as long as it has a pencil, you can get into it. And on this document, there was no comment. Also, you can see that there started to be a history on these documents. The history tab will tell you each status that the document goes through, from save to submitted all the way to Wolf's reconciled, and it'll tell you the user and the date and the time that they did those processes. I'm going to go ahead and get out of here again. Once you have saved a document, you're essentially done with the process that is going to replace the Excel spreadsheet. We have had some agencies where they are small enough to where their person in that agency is going to be the one who saves the document and then also submits the document. We have had some larger agencies that have in place a dual control, where they have a user who's going to enter in the document and save it, and then they will have someone else in the agency who, for dual control purposes, will go ahead and look at the previous day composite report, make sure that that report matches, and then they'll be the ones to go ahead and move that to a submitted status. So I'm just going to go ahead and select this document. You can bulk select from up here and grab all of the documents that have the same type. But in this case, I'm only wanting to submit the middle document, so I can go ahead and unselect these. I'm going to go up and hit bulk actions, and I'm going to hit submit. As you see, that document went away, so then I can again go to my status and do a submit and go, and you'll be able to see that you can find that document right here. Again, we can expand our search to bank date if I want to only view documents for May 4th. So there's my document. It is in a submitted status. If you have submitted a document in error and you would like us to reject it back to you, you can call us and have that rejected back to you. If, as we go through our process and we try to bank reconcile it or WOLFS reconcile it, and we find that the bank date, the dollar amount, or the WOLFS ID don't match, we will go ahead and reject that document back to you. When that document has been rejected back to you, you will see that there is a bell up in the top right hand corner that will have a number on it. If you have a document that's rejected back to you, you will see that there's a bell here with a number on it. If we reject a document back to your agency, you will go ahead and get an email from us that states that a document has been rejected. At that time, we'll ask you to log into the system and see the reasoning for that reject. If one person in the agency submitted a document that needed to be rejected, everyone in the agency will get the notification that it has been rejected. That way, if someone is on vacation or out sick, someone else from the agency can go ahead and take care of that. If I click on the bell, you're going to see that it is highlighted in pink. Once you hover over it, that pink will go away. In this case, it tells you that on 5/4, we had a document for $199.45 that was rejected because the amount did not match the bank. So we can go ahead and we can search for that document a couple of different ways. We can search for it by the $199.45, and we'll have just that document pop up. If you wanted to, however, you could search by status, and you could search by rejected and hit go. In the system right now, that's the only document that we have rejected, so you'll see that it's the only one that popped up. You could also search by the bank date of 5/4 and see if you could find that document. As you'll see, I was going to go back and look at my previous day composite report. Oh, yep, my previous day composite report, it was $199.48, and I entered in the document as $199.45. So I'm going to go ahead, I can click on the pencil, and I'm going to go ahead and change my 5 to an 8, and then I can update that document. As you can see right here, before I update it, that we have started to create history. I saved it, I submitted it, and then I had someone from the treasurer's office who went back and rejected that back to me because the amount did not match bank date. Just to keep in mind, we will have a category of that the amount does not match WOLFS. In that, it could be this document to where this document is in error and it doesn't match WOLFS, or it may be something in the WOLF system that needs to be changed to have the documents match. So just keep that in mind, that you might need to look either at WOLFS or the bank if we reject a document back to you, because it may not be this particular document that is in error, but maybe something at the bank or WOLFS that is in error. I'm going to go ahead and click update on this button since I changed my dollar figure. It says it's successfully updated. Now I want to find that document. If something is rejected and you go ahead and save it, you're going to have to go back and look in saved. And you can see now that we found that document right here, and it is changed to the 48 cents. So from here I can click on the document and I'm going to hit submit. That is it for submitting a document. Once that document is in submitted status, it will go to the treasurer's office, and the treasurer's office will then run it through the rest of the process to take it to WOLFS Reconciled. I'd like to show you now just really quick how to run a report in the system. If you click on reports and hit the play button, it's going to take you to a screen like this. Just remember that everything is bank date specific, so we know that we ran this deposit as of 5/4. I can click on here as of 5/4. My ending date for this will also be 5/4. You can run these reports in PDF or CSV. I'm going to run this one in PDF. This is grayed out, and the reason that it is just because we have canned documents that we run. But if you click on that, it'll go ahead and just deselect those, and you can select the documents. You can choose individual, you can hit shift and hit a range of documents, or you can do control and hit just a select few of those. We know that this document was in a submitted status, so I'm going to select submitted and hit run. It'll just take a couple seconds to run. As you can see, it says report successfully generated, and the document popped up on the bottom of the screen. Every now and then you may get a pop-up window about right here that'll ask you to allow the pop-up. If you just hit allow on that, the document will show up on the bottom of the screen. If not, you may need to go find your document. If you click no on there, you may need to go find your document where your documents are downloaded to your computer. If I click on that document, you are able to print this document either in legal or letterhead. You can download it and print it from up here. As you'll see, we have bank date. I was the user. The username that is here is going to be correspondent with the status. So if you were to run this report, say in Wolf's reconciled status, you're going to go ahead and see someone from the treasurer's office. You're going to see them as the user. This was the document ID that I entered in. If I scroll over here, you're going to see that I did a desktop deposit and that my total matches for the desktop deposit of the $199.48, which then matches my previous day for the bank. Therefore, I know that everything that I entered in that day was successful, and I can go ahead and print my report, and I can be done for the day. You can also run this report. I went back. You can run this report for an entire month. You can run it from 5/1 to 5/31. I'll just run this really quickly in CSV, and we can run that. I'm going to go ahead and select all statuses and click run. It ran successfully. You will need to adjust the columns and maybe give it some formatting, but you can see the statuses for the whole month of Wolf's reconciled, submitted, the document IDs, and then the dollar amounts that are here. They had some desktop deposits, some ACH credit cards, and you can go ahead and print this, or you can sort this for your purposes. I'm going to go ahead and close out of here. So that concludes the training. This was just how to enter in a CR document that's going to replace the Wolf's 101 Excel sheet. If you have any questions, you'll see on the bottom left-hand screen. Please email us at stodeposits@wyo.gov or call our main line at 777-7408 and just let them know that